Sure. Charlie,
What's going on, everybody? This is SangLucci.com, Tuesday TVs. I guess we're drinking Jameson today on fucking Tuesday.
Brian Weiner's birthday, everybody.
It's Brian Weiner's birthday. That's right. I forgot.
I'm 21, bitches.
I forgot.
We're gonna get laid tonight.
It's Brian Weiner. Are you gonna get laid tonight?
Oh, you know it, girl.
Oh shit! All right.
After Fetch Sound, I got the meat sweats.
Oof. Meat sweats at that place are just.
Oh.
You know what? I think coming off a scenario where you eat all that meat, I don't think your libido is gonna be.
So I'm gonna have to take a huge
I don't
dump in the
think-
morning in that.
You know?
Okay, morning sex maybe, but trust me, after you eat that sound,
Yeah.
you're gonna want to just kill
I
yourself.
don't know if that's gonna
It's
happen.
this weird mix of euphoria and agony. It's quite amazing.
The lady waited till midnight to start getting rowdy last night. So
Apparently has Charlie has experience in this.
Too much experience. Too much.
Anyways, let's get. We don't even know what are we doing here. What are we doing here?
All right, guys.
What's the deal?
So everybody, I'm sure, wants to know about Lucci's $600,000 trade.
It's a big trade, yeah.
I can understand that. Biggest trade of the year so far, right?
Yeah. Biggest trade of the year so far, yeah.
Great, absolutely phenomenal trade. And we usually do this thing called the money shot, where Lucci will make a video breaking down, how the trade, the specifics of it. Not so much the psychology, but like, hey, this is what I saw sentiment-wise, the options I was in, this is the price built into it, that whole thing. So we're going to kind of take that to the next level, and we're going to do the anatomy. What is it? The autonomy.
Anatomy.
Anatomy of the trade.
The anatomy of a $600,000 trade, right?
Okay.
And it's going to be a video that Lucci is going to create for you guys. It's going to walk you through this thing in very specific detail. So long story short, we're going to talk about the trade right now, but we're going to be offering you a lot more, when that comes around, once we can get him to sober up and make the video. So
I mean, I was gonna crank out the money. I was actually working on that money shot video. But it was good that we end up doing this, guys. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through a spreadsheet essentially of all the trades. That's what you're gonna get. And actually, here's a little prelude of it. Here you go, right here. So I mean, these are some of the executions. And these are some of the options, and you'll look like this is the whole trade for those last. These are like all the trades that I made those last 2 days, and I'm going to show you guys mistakes that I made on Monday when I went to cover this whole position. There was a ton of mistakes I made. Brian can attest to a lot of these. There was broker issues that we had with leverage, but I can't really blame anybody but myself here. I walked away with 600 grand. But there was so much more on the table. And as always, there's always going to be that much more on the table. But there are distinct things that you can take away from your actions that will help you get to that next level. And I can say without any hesitation, I'm closer. I'm closer to it.
that's what I want to talk about.
You know what I mean? I'm closer to what I've been working for what seems like forever.
Right. And we've had some discussions recently that I think have helped rally the whole team. It's not like we're not already, behind Lucci, but even to a greater degree, right? And Brian, being involved in those discussions as well. Brian's managing his risk, and it's like really understanding the strategy, right? And really understanding, you kind of gotta take some licks, for sometimes a month or two or whatever. You gotta pay some money to the market to understand what's going on. And I'm not saying you guys have to do this. I'm saying this is the strategy that Lucci knows works so well for him. But paying money to the market, and then you kind of pay your tuition, and then once you have that read, you go in extremely heavy. You extract everything you can. And Lucci's obviously shown that works very well for him.
Right. And the issue though always has been is like, what do you do during those off periods? Like, what do you do during those periods where you have to pay for that information? How much are you going to pay for that information?
Right.
How much suffering are you going to take before that, those good times roll around?
Right.
And this is one of the big downfalls of this particular strategy, one where all of us now as a community are trying to work out. And there comes a realization that one man is one man only. And a lot of these other perspectives, these outside perspectives, Brian's perspective, Peter's perspective, Charlie's perspective. You know, you can craft it towards building a better picture.
Right.
You know, and if it helps me get to where I'm trying to go, then why try to fight? You know, there's so many traders out there who make sure it's just an individual game. You know, and Twitter, I think, has really brought back a community approach to trading, and really being open to taking other advice. You know, and realizing that, you know, you do have flaws. You do even though you're still making money. You know, things could always be better. Things could always be better, and you know, your progress can always be there. You know, I've gotten thus far by myself, but now in order to get to that upper echelon, I'm going to need some help. I'm going to need some help.
So,
you know?
so yeah, and that's what I wanted. We're kind of getting into what I wanted to talk about a little bit of. Like, this is top 10 biggest trades, you know, of your life. Probably.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, top 10
if we're talking about pure raw potential, this was the biggest. This actually was the biggest.
Bigger than the Citigroup.
This, from pure raw potential, this was the biggest. This was much bigger than Citigroup.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what do you? I mean, I hate to ask this, but what could you have pulled? 2 million?
4.2.
Really?
So he's done some
every single one of the trade. I did all the calculations. So I had 300 contracts of just about each one of those, and the total profit on each one would be around 5, 6, possibly even high of 700,000 on the Netflix per se, and that was just for one strike.
Netflix was definitely.
And that was just for the one strike. I had 6 different options where I had 200 to 300 contracts.
Right.
Yeah. What was the price line? 2 half put.
Price line 2 half put.
That
and
was 400 grand.
That was 400 grand. The Netflix was 700.
Google, what was it? You had 250 Google.
250 Google.
What strike was that? 12.
90. 12. No,
11.90?
Something like that.
Just $50. That's a mill right
90s.
there.
Yeah.
We'll go into detail in the
Yeah,
video.
right.
You know, so on the video, you're going to see the whole thing. You're going to see the whole shebang. And, you know, the money that was there for the taking and the size that I took, this made this the biggest trade that potentially I could have made. It was the most money on the table.
So yeah, so let's, I guess, you know, we don't spend too much time on you know, Sang Lucci TV, but you know, let's think about, let's hit on the negative and the positive, right?
Sure.
We'll do the negative first.
Sure.
So everyone thinks, dude, you made 600 grand, like, you
Right,
know,
right.
you must be on cloud 9.
Right.
You once told me cloud 9 is a place you never want to find yourself, right? Which
Yeah.
is one of the cooler lines you've ever said.
Yeah.
So what's the toughest part about an enormous trade like this?
And not booking.
If that's what it is. What for you, you know, you're going into Monday night and you're like, I just booked 600 grand.
Yeah.
What are the tough things that you're wrestling with that are going through your head?
Yeah, I think
it doesn't have to be necessarily trading. It could be, you know,
I think
ramifications in your personal life.
I think
whatever.
the biggest thing, and this is something that we're going to come back to when we do this, you know, this webinar and everything. I mean, I think the biggest thing is realizing that when these trades do come around and you don't capitalize on that full potential, it's I don't want to say it's as bad as losing, but it's right up there. Like, it's right up there.
Right.
You know, when you pull down, let's say you've lost, you know, let's say you go through 3-4 months of losing, and then all of a sudden you make it all back. Well, if you paid for all that information,
a lot of pressure,
and you don't take advantage of it,
right,
then you still haven't done anything.
Right.
You know, and that is still there. Like,
right.
You know, as far as the mental weight of it all.
So it's almost like when you calculate out, this is how much I made, this is how much I could have made.
Right.
The difference there, you almost make that into like a loss.
Exactly.
In your mind.
In your head, like, you still haven't gone anywhere. You still haven't done it. You still haven't. You know, there's still this thing that is still left out there.
Right.
You know, that hasn't been
right.
completed or finished.
Right.
So that's kind of what happened here.
Right.
You know, and it's what's been happening quite often. But then you realize, like, what it took for me to get to 2009. Right, all the time that I had to put in to get to 2009 and to make that trade. Right, you have to be mentally ready to even make that trade in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you're not, like a perfect example is those guys who come into the market and let's say they start trading options and they have like crazy success in the beginning, you know, and let's say they go on a run and make 50 grand.
Totally.
Every single one of those people, I'm saying 99% of those people will lose all that money.
They're blowing up.
Because they weren't ready. They weren't ready for that experience.
Yep.
They don't know how to handle that experience mentally. So therefore, you're on cloud 9. You think you're fucking invincible, and that shit disappears slowly or quickly or whatever.
And I feel like it's human nature, right? It's like you think to yourself, people are killing themselves all year working their asses off to make 50 grand. I just made it in a week.
Exactly.
And I didn't even try that hard. I don't, so money loses its value.
It's not essentially that you didn't deserve it. It's just that you just weren't ready. You just weren't ready to get it.
Well, but what I'm saying is psychologically, you're like, did I work hard enough to get this money? Like, what's going on here? And that there's like a dissonance there that you're saying to yourself, this does not compute, right?
Exactly.
And you don't really know how to handle it.
Exactly.
Right.
And I feel like right now, I'm ready for it. Like
so what makes
I
you say
am
that?
ready for it.
What makes you say that?
But what makes me say that is because of how heavy I've gotten into these positions, how many I've been right on the cusp of, and it's just this one little tweak that needs to be done at that last moment.
Right.
That's what's going to open the door. That's what's going to open the floodgates to the P&L.
Right.
I've been trapped in this world of 100,000, 500,000, 200,000, that whole world, and then all of a sudden when that floodgate opens, now everything moves up. Now it's 7-figure trades. Now it's multi-7-figure trades.
Getting to that next level.
And it's how do you do that? When are you ready for it?
Well, here's my question in terms of mental preparation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about you're talking about what happens while you're trading. What about outside of trading? Right? And do you feel like at this point you're putting in different type of work outside of trading, or maybe you're focusing more on just chilling out?
Yeah. I think outside of trading, I'm more just outside of trading. Honestly, lately I've been writing. Again.
Truth. Yeah.
Outside of trading, just honestly, I can't really pinpoint one thing or another, but making sure that I'm hanging out with friends and all that kind of stuff.
Just keeping it level.
And that's it. Making sure I'm like trying to work out somewhat, attempting to
keep myself alive in the long term.
So nothing really has changed. I think it's just a mental thing as far as trading goes, as far as how I'm looking at the market.
Gotcha.
And that's kind of where it is.
All right, so that's tough stuff.
Yeah, that's the tough stuff.
All right, what's the best part about pulling down an enormous trade like this?
The best part about doing this is that,
besides obviously the fact
honestly, the best part is that proving to everybody, including everybody in this room, which is very important because these are my partners, these are the people that I work with, these are the people that feed off of my energy as well, and also feed negatively or positively off my energy too.
Totally.
I think it's great for morale. I think it's awesome for morale. I think it's great to be in a situation where you can prove to everybody that I am still a horse that you can bet on. Like, that's very important to me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I totally
because
agree.
That's my whole livelihood. And everybody that surrounds me, they are still betting. Essentially, at the core, they're still betting that I'm the right horse.
Right.
That I am the right horse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as long as I can continue to prove that, then that's what coasts me out to the next one, and the one after that.
Yeah, and I can speak to this from being, living with you and working with you, and obviously, being partners with you and everything we do. It's like it is. The day, there's nothing you can do about it. You can only silo it off so much mentally, right? And I can only remind myself so many times of like, I know this man, whatever.
Right.
When there's a shitty day trading, energy goes out of the room. It's a human nature thing. And does that mean that we all start thinking to ourselves, oh God, should I start looking for a new job, or like I don't know if I can do this anymore? But there is like a there's a settled feeling to it, that affects things, and that's the nature of the beast. And I think a lot of times we've all realized that we've come we come together, and you make more of an effort just to be like just hang out and think outside of it. And the reverse is also true. I mean, when you come in and big trades, we were guys, as cool as we make ourselves out to be and whatnot. I mean, when we started looking at the numbers on Monday morning, I pulled up the P&L back there on my computer, and I was like, I'm just gonna try and keep it cool, whatever. And I looked at the numbers, and I was like, woo! And then Roy was like, look at that smile on Charlie's face, and everybody's high fiving one another, like it's
and this all goes on behind the scenes. Like, I don't know this shit's going on,
Right.
I don't know this shit's going on. Like, I don't know they're looking at the P&L. Like, I don't know all this.
Right.
And I have to make sure, like, I keep that pressure off of me, and you've done a pretty good job of keeping that away from me, too.
Right, we tried to do the best, that we can.
There was a lot of standing. There was a lot of standing and...
yeah. There's a lot of people just, hey guys,
just hovering around.
Do we have a meeting later today?
Yeah.
And you were, but you and Brian, you were fist bumping. You were.
No, I remember turning around to Brian and being like, yo, this shit is at $500,000. And that was the turning point where it got nasty. Like, everything got nasty right there. As soon as I turned around, I was like, yo, another $500,000. This is going to be the $1 million trade.
Right.
You're going to talk about
Then
this.
everything just started disappearing.
You probably talk about this, though, in your presentation.
Yeah.
Whatever, how it could have been different, maybe. But, So you're just playing the bounce and...
Yeah. We'll talk about all that. We'll talk about all that.
Yeah.
But these are the core concepts here mentally that are going on, when these big trades are happening. But I will say, though, that I'm fucking close, man. I'm close.
Well, guys, hopefully, in a year, we're going to look back at this. We're going to be like, can you believe that we made that big of a deal on a $600,000 trade?
Right. And
right now,
exactly.
it is a big deal. And then there's a lot of guys out there, you don't get the chance to have a guy who makes a trade like that sit down and for a half hour, for free, walk you through the trades, walk you through everything that went into it. So,
Definitely.
Lucci's going to do that for you guys. If you have questions, hit up contact@sanglucci.com. Send us the questions. Lucci might answer it, might not, but might as well try.
All right, so Thursday we're doing the mailbag, of course, so get your questions in the mailbag at sanglucci.com, and then watch out for the webinar. I mean, when are we going to do it? Is this just on me?
So we're going to do it, and then we're not going to do it live, guys, because we've had some weird, Google Hangout issues and whatnot, we're gonna record it. That will actually help us really make sure we cover everything, and then we're gonna put it up there. You guys will know. You'll get email blasts, Twitter, and whatnot. So hopefully, Thursday afternoon, Friday, this thing will be up.
All right, guys. All right, so check back on the site for it, and we'll see you guys Thursday after the close.
See you guys
Later.